Welcome back, everybody, to the Mastermind Set series. Today, we have a special guest. We have a developer, real estate flipper, and the owner of Preschool, a academy that helps people in real estate flipping properties. Without further ado, my guest, Rick Bowal. Welcome, brother.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate having me.
Thanks for coming down today.
No worries, man.
So, how's your day going?
Things going good, man. It's a bit of a drive to get out here.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a nice drive.
It was a nice drive, man.
Awesome.
I love the valley, man.
Yeah, 100%.
It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, I mean, you're in Richmond right now, right?
I'm in Richmond. Actually, I was telling you earlier, I was born in Lillooet. A lot of people don't know where that is. It's about 4 hours outside of Vancouver.
Yep.
Right. Population 5,000. Right. So not a lot of opulent families. Right. Yeah. Very few. Mm-hmm. But my dad's mill worker. Mom's working in a restaurant as a chef or a cook. Sorry, and my old man said that, you know what, the future is not so bright here, you know what I mean, looking forward kind of thing, what we're seeing going ahead. So picked up, and I think it was about 10 years old when I actually moved to Richmond. So, yeah, started there kind of thing. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I started, and that's where my roots are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a part of your roots actually helped mold you into the person you are today and helped give you, were you able to leverage that, especially being able to?
The funny thing is, Sonny, is that the way I grew up is kind of unique. And so people think that I'm kind of like, I can adapt to a lot of changes. Well, there's reasons for that. Okay. So I when people said, they talk to me when they're like, oh, you're pretty, you have that, I guess, easy connection with people, whatnot kind of thing. The reason is that because my dad was building houses, okay, when we were growing up. And he got, obviously in real estate and stuff, and my grandfather got him into it, essentially, originally. We would literally move almost every single year. So we would buy, my dad would build a house, move into it, save the GST, whatnot, and then sell it, right? Which a lot of families did. But my dad didn't realize that how impact you have it on a kid, right? So I'm changing schools. Like I changed schools from I'm not kid you not, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 11 and 12 I get to stay. So Every single year I was moving all around kind of thing in different schools. So I didn't stay in any schools. And then the way I had to literally teach myself how to make friends. And it was really hard, right, kind of thing. So there's reasons the way I am, and I talk, whatever and stuff. I try to make people take it easy real quickly because that's the way I was brought up. And so, even though I do have my best friends and stuff, right, from my small town, whatnot, I have very wide array of friends, whatnot. But I would always try to, I guess, I was very involved in sports when I was a kid, right? So I would always try to make friends through sports, all right, through sport, and try to build a relationship that way. Because you don't know anybody. Yeah, you're a new kid, totally. Right? Especially like in high school and stuff, like every year, like, oh, shit. And then I would try to join the basketball team and soccer team. I'd join every team. And that's what I would do. And that's how I would make friends. Right?
That's a good point. Because if you're on the sports team and you're doing well, you automatically are going to start fitting in with all the crowds.
Well, you got to be good.
So you're networking from the beginning, eh?
You can't be a bench warmer. Yeah. So, yeah.
You can't be a bench warmer.
You can't be a bench warmer. Okay. So that's kind of what I did. And that's when when I've done businesses and stuff as I've grown up, right? Yeah. As obviously there's roots for that. There's reasons for that because that's how I was brought up, right? Kind of thing. So good or bad, I'm not going to judge my parents. It's just the way they don't know any better. They just want us to get a better life, right? Kind of thing. So my dad was doing the best that he could kind of thing, right? But it's not easy, that's for sure. But
yeah, to have that outlook at that age, and especially now to apply that and realizing that you were applying that adversity in a sense to your business and to your personal life. That's amazing. Because I think most people think that, or may start thinking that, oh, well, I went through these challenges and this is why I can't be successful. Yep. And what you did was you adapted and said, I was able to overcome XYZ.
XYZ. You have to, man. You have to, man. Especially just, like networking clubs and just trying to get this business kind of thing. And I feel like in business, it's relationships and it's your word, right? Kind of thing, right? And people can usually see through you if you're just bullshitting somebody. That's my opinion. You have to hold your word, and that's how you make relationships, right? It's the kind of thing. So you're right.
You made a good point there. What I'm also learning throughout the business career and being an entrepreneur as well is many people that are ahead of me in this role. They say you become a master reader of people. Yep. And you find that as well, that you become very good at that.
I like to think so. I like to think so, right? Kind of thing. I'm not going to say that I haven't been, screwed over in business, right?
Yeah.
That happens to everybody, kind of thing, right? Especially when you're younger, you're a bit more naive. I think that, but what I've always found is that the people that, anyways, when I was younger, they gave to me and not expecting anything in return is they always expect, I respected them, and I always got more out of the relationship, always. And so I've kind of tried to do that as well. As I got older, kind of thing, I teach my boys that as well, kind of thing, right? If you give something, don't expect anything in return. If you do, you get it, that's great, but don't expect anything in return. Like if I do a feeder for you, you expect something for me, right? And so that's kind of what I've always found as well, is that the people that kind of guided me when I was younger, for sure helped me.
Right.
So I think that for you as well, probably, right?
Absolutely.
It's a real thing. Giving is better than receiving, right?
Yeah.
So,
Seva.
right, seva, 100%. And you probably heard me talk about that a lot of times on my reels and that kind of stuff. And
I haven't,
that's
yeah,
my big
yeah.
thing, man. I preach that. I preach it quite a bit. I'm not a religious person, but I'm just, like I always believe that if you're serving the fellow human, it comes back to you, and karma kind of thing, right, as well. So I've even through people that I've mentored and taught over the years, like whatever it is, I'm like, you got to pay it forward, man. You got to pay it forward, because trust me, you can't keep it, this knowledge and education, that if you have this, it's meant for you to help other people. It's not meant for you to hoard this shit, right? So and I really, truly mean that as well, because I don't understand how sometimes people are like, well, if you give me this, I'll do this or that kind of thing, right? Whatever it is. You got to kind of give without expecting anything in return, and good things will happen. It's funny how the world works, though, but good things will happen. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I feel like this day and age, many people are very transactional, right? They say, if you're going to give me something, like you said, I'm going to give you something in return. But then if the other person's not able to follow through, they're like, the relationship's over. It just falls apart and fizzles away.
That's true.
What year did you begin your real estate career?
So real estate career, man. Holy shit.
And why?
Why?
That's and why.
So this is an interesting story. So I started when I was about 20 plus years ago, 22 years ago or so. And I started when I was 19. All right. So remember this, I was growing up, being part of a sort of like a real estate family, but my dad, he wasn't like some kind of like major successful developer. He wasn't, right? He is more the, I'm the builder, but I'm also the framer. I'm the electrician. I'm the cleanup guy. I'm doing everything. You know what I mean?
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, right? A lot of our dads, that's how, so it wasn't really a business. So he never really, I guess you could say, excelled as a business sense of it, right? Kind of thing. And I saw that. I'm like, I don't know if I really like this. And I saw that I really didn't know anybody either. I was pretty young.
Yeah.
But, so I'm going to school. I got out of, school. I enrolled in post-secondary, going to college and whatnot. And I was like, I'm going to go into, and I really don't know exactly what I was doing, but I'm like, I'll go into finance, right? So I decided, you know what? I'm going to finance, so I'll get a job at a bank. Just normal thing, right? Kind of thing. So I'll be there. So I got a job at the bank, and then I'm like, as a teller. And then I'm like, I wanted to go into being possibly a financial advisor. So that's what my goal, my career path was. So I don't have any judgment, by the way, for anybody that does or has a 9-to-5 career whatsoever. I applaud you, earn you, but it's not for everybody's path. And this is what I mean, right? Some people are just not meant to go. They're not. That's not going to be their path. So I looked at that and I looked at it. Okay, I'm going to be, and at that time, I think I was making like $25,000 a year, something like that. Even then, my buddies are working like McDonald's or like, at the mall and stuff like that, not making much money, right? We're all kind of broke, right? We're going to students and stuff.
Yep.
And so we're going to school. And then I saw, there's some program that's in the classified ad from a real estate seminar or whatever it was, right? At a hotel. So I'm like, it's free.
What year is this?
This is like in 2000.
2000.
2000, right? Yeah. So
right during that.
Yeah.
Little bit of a
99, 2000, somewhere around there, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to go and look at real estate. I'm just going to see what this is, whatever it is. And I went there, and I looked at it and it got me intrigued. I'm like, because one of the stats that the guy said, and I don't really care what he was saying, but he said to me that 90% of the millionaires in the world are from real estate. This is not some new stat. A lot of people know this, right? And I didn't know that, though. So I'm a kid. I'm like, 90% of the millionaires in the world. And making $1 million is so like like not even thinking about it. Like, come on now. Like, I can barely even pay for my gas, right?
Then, back then it was a different number. Yeah,
exactly. I remember me and my buddies, we put together loonies and toonies just for gas, right? Just to go out. So we were, and I was like, you know what? I want to see if I can get into real estate. So I went on the MLS. I didn't even know what the MLS really was. I really didn't look at it too much. And then I'm like, okay. I looked at it. I'm like, oh, I see these properties. And this is back in 2000 or whatever. So it's a house for like 150,000, 200,000, blah, blah, whatever it was. I said, wait, no chance. I have no money, right? So what am I going to do? So I decided that, you know what? I'm going to look at the lowest priced property. What is the lowest one I can get to? And the lowest ones were mobile homes. Okay.
Right.
So mobile homes, I look at mobile homes. I'm like, okay, how do I buy? I didn't know what the mobile home was. I'll be honest with you. Really, I saw it on TV, that kind of stuff, and they're not very common. And then I looked there, and I decided to drive to King George. There's a mobile home park there.
Oh, yeah.
There's one in
Seen a
Coquitlam.
few there,
Yeah, Coquitlam, whatnot. I drove around. I'm like, oh wow, this is a whole community I didn't even know existed. I really didn't. And I looked at it. I'm like, okay. Then I went there. I'm like, I know I can, because the guy was talking about you can renovate a property and flip it and sell it. Houses though, not like a mobile home. I went and talked to my friend, okay, who was working at the bank, a mortgage broker. I said that I need a mortgage. I don't even really know what kind of mortgage. I had no clue. And he's like, oh, well, you work at the bank, so that's kind of good, right? I can get you something like, so I couldn't qualify for a regular mortgage, but I got a chattel mortgage, right? And
Okay, yeah.
You're a mortgage broker, so you got stuff. So I got a chattel mortgage. It's like a car loan almost. So I went and I literally found the cheapest mobile home was $5,000 at that time. Anyway, $5,000.
$5,000.
So I paid $5,000 without any of my own money. I got the loan, paid for it.
100% financed.
100% financed. And then I got $1,000 line of credit from Royal Bank. Okay,
Yeah.
you know you get one when you open a bank account, $1,000. I got that, and then I had like literally maybe $1,000 or a couple of $1,500 of savings. That's all I had. So I had no cash. I had no money, right? And I'm like, and I'm paying for my books and stuff in college and stuff like that. I'm paying for my gas. I'm trying, I'm just trying to like just barely making ends meet, right, kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm going on all this. When I was talking about this and talking this to my parents about this, they're like, forget it. Don't even try that kind of stuff. Stay in your lane, right? You don't need to do the kind of stuff. You go to school, you get your job, you're going to get a degree and blah, 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 this and that. That's what you're going to do. So I ended up buying this without even telling them that, right? So I went and saw it like a big deal. Yeah. That was like the first time kind of like hid something from my parents kind of thing.
That's a big deal. I bought our property, mom and dad. That's
I didn't know what the process was. I don't know how to, like, you're supposed to go sign it to lawyers. I didn't even know I needed a lawyer or a notary, whatever it is. And I don't know the process at all. But I was legal age, so I'm like, okay, I can do it.
Okay, so let me sorry to interrupt you. Can you tell me about the emotions that you must have been going through? Because a lot of your clients and our clients go through that. Yeah. You talk a little about the 100%. Emotions?
So the emotions was extreme nervousness, like a first-time home buyer, right? So, and on top of that, my friends are like, "What are you doing, Rick? What the hell? What are you buying a mobile? What is a mobile home?" I took one of my buddies out there. I'm like, "This is what I bought." I show him the shack. It's like so ugly, disgustingly dirty. It's like a bright green mobile home. It needed repairs, right? Okay. So I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, I bought this, and then I got it. Like I said, I have my RBC $1,000 line of credit, whatever it is, and I can use some of my own cash. And I found somebody that can renovate the property, because I'm like, I don't know how to do the electrical. I needed that and do the flooring and stuff and the paint. I'm not a very good painter. And I'm like, I'll do much as I can, but I don't know a lot how to do it. So I hired some guy to help me, right? And they were like, the prices were like $3,000, $5,000, $4,000, blah, blah. I'm like, out of my budget. I literally found somebody that could do for me for $1,500, right? Wow.
50% discount.
And the reason the guy he said, Rick, I don't know what it's about you. He's like, he's my age now, whatever it is. He's like, I'm going to help you out. I don't know where this is going to go, but you seem like you're really determined, because I was. And I was meeting this guy, I remember at Subway, I'm like, I just really need somebody to give me a chance, because I don't have the money. And I'm not going to go to my parents and ask them for it. Anyways, we renovated the property. So I knew that I need to put it in the market now, right? So I need to find a real estate agent. I didn't realize how much expensive the commissions were. I was like, shit, man, I didn't realize the goddamn commissions. So I ended up selling it, I think, around that time, something around 11.5 or somewhere around there.
How many months later?
It was like pretty quick. It was like 3 months later.
That's a huge.
Oh, he was huge. And so when I got that, after fees and everything else, I think I made a couple of grand, whatever it was, after everything. And I remember looking at it. I'm like, this is the most amount of money that I've actually generated by myself without somebody else, like, having a job, whatever it is. Cause I worked at like, retail jobs and whatnot. So I was like, this is interesting. I'm like, I can maybe do this. And so I was really proud of myself, and I'm like, I can do this again. So I ended up buying another one, and I made a little bit more money. Next one, I bought another one. I did the same, made more money, right? Then so I was making money. I was flipping these mobile homes, but they weren't selling as fast as the first one. The first one I think was a little bit of luck. And so I'm like, I need to, what I know one word was cash flow. So I need cash flow. And I've been seeing this on TV and all that. You need cash flow. You need to be financially free, blah, blah, blah.
That was going on back then too, eh?
Back then too, man. And I was like, okay. So I looked at that. I'm like, I'm going to get more mobile homes. So I ended up actually eventually buying properties, renovating them, with about the cash, refinancing them with a conventional loan, and then having cash flow coming in. That's what I would do. And I'd rent it out to renters that usually were welfare system, whatever not, right? So the checks would come directly from the government into my bank account. And I figured this out. I'm like, oh my God, I can get, so that's a good thing. So my rent would always be paid on time every single month. I had, I think, at one point about 10 or so mobile homes, whatnot, making good money. Each of them, after paying the mortgage, the pad rental fee, and all that kind of stuff, whatever it is, I was making maybe $300 on each of them. Times that by like 8 or 10 or whatever it was, I'm making pretty good money. I was like, I'm rich, right? So
yeah, passive income, and tax free in a sense.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then I thought that this is pretty good. I'm gonna be able to do this for a long time, forever. The other side of this was that the people you're dealing with, right? So I'm dealing with people that are on this welfare system. I got a lot of drug addicts, got a lot of people that are abusing stuff, breaking windows, that kind of stuff. I would constantly be, at this point, obviously my parents knew everything about what I was doing. Yeah. They're like, and I would get calls at like something like 2, 3 in the morning from the police and saying that this person has broken your window, or you have a domestic, whatever, you're the owner, you need to drive down. I'll be driving to Coquitlam or Surrey or wherever, mobile homes, whatever stuff. This happened often. And I eventually thought, now, you know what? I can't do this forever. I can't. And when I would go there as well, people would be like, where's the owner? You're the owner? The 19-year-old. I'm like, no, I just lied and say it's my dad, right? Yeah. But I just came here.
Just came here to show up, right?
But that's what I would do. So that's what I ended up selling that and got into other stuff though. But that's kind of literally my start was as my entry into real estate, I guess you can say, right? So Very humble beginnings. Literally started from, you couldn't go any lower than that. So but that's where I grew. That's where I started, bro.
That's awesome, man. Like you literally started, like you said, humble beginnings and dealing with different frequency of people and caliber, and now moving your way up.
Yeah.
What was the hardest part of pursuing your dreams in real estate or just in life?
One of the hardest things, and I was talking to you as well before, is that you've got a lot of people that want you to stay at their level. That's what it is. If the people that are doing better than you will always encourage you. They're like, come on, let's go, son. Let's go, move on up. You can do better. I expect more of you. The people that are in line with you, even my own friends, my own buddies, like, why are you doing this shit, man? Look, we're having a good time. We're going to the clubs and stuff. Like, what are you stuck here doing? You're cleaning toilets and stuff like that, or for house properties. I'm doing all this kind of weird stuff.
Mr. Big Shot trying to do this.
Oh, Mr. Big Shot, 100%. And you get a lot of, and even though, and on top of that, your family as well, right? So you have a lot of people that are going to doubt you and always going to be questioning what you're, and people don't want you to fail necessarily, but they don't want you to get off the path, okay? You're going down the path with them. Why are you going way over here, right? Why are you, going to a different level? And that's kind of what I was always struggling with, and that's maybe it's in our culture, that's something every culture kind of thing, right? And a lot of people kind of think. I'm sure you probably face it as well. But when you're especially entrepreneurship, it's not something that's not the doctor or the lawyer or whatever it is kind of thing, right? It's different, and so that was, I guess you can say, probably the biggest challenge. For me, perhaps. Right?
I can only imagine. I mean, it's like the lone wolf by yourself going your own way, because even now, what I find really helpful now are the tools that are so readily available on our phones.
100%.
Like the different things you can read about that people had the similar journey. In the 2000s, you probably had a different level of grit and mindset to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah,
did you were you reading any books at the time, or just?
Oh, I'm a big book reader. Yeah? I'm huge. Yeah. I've always, that's the one thing that I learned at a young age is like, you've got to read, and you've got not only books, just educate yourself. Education and knowledge, I find, trumps everything. I'm not talking about, school knowledge. That's a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like that's I'm talking about business smarts, right? And life knowledge as well. And there's a lot of so I'm still reading almost every day. Every day I have Audible on my car and stuff like that. Even my kids, when they were going to the school and stuff like that, I drop them off. We're listening to some kind of podcast or some kind of book or something like that. Always. Rarely do I have music on.
Right on.
I just always love to read, for sure, man. I think that you're
I'm also listening more audiobooks as well.
Yeah.
And following more podcasts that are going to be helping my business and the mindset, especially.
Mindset.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest supporter?
Let me
say it one more time. Who is your biggest supporter? And I'm going to follow that up with another one.
Biggest supporter. My biggest supporter, I've got a lot of supporters. Okay, I'm not going to say that. But I'm not sure if I have any one specific person, but the one person that kind of believed in me, I guess you can say,
from the beginning.
Was my grade 9 entrepreneurship teacher, actually.
Wow.
Mr. Fritz. Yeah. So I was actually introduced to entrepreneurship, I think, from him, sort of kind of thing. And he said that this is actually a career, because, we're doing career planning and stuff like that. And, in school and high school and whatnot kind of thing, right? They don't really talk about entrepreneur. Go be an entrepreneur. Probably not really back then anyways. They weren't really talking about it. And I didn't really understand what entrepreneur really even meant, right? So I just thought it was a businessman, right, kind of thing. So, he's probably my biggest supporter. I don't know if he's ever watching this, so maybe he is. But
have you connected with him at all?
No, I haven't seen him in over 20 years. But
and where is he now?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Was he a little?
Well, no. It was Richmond.
Richmond?
Yeah.
That'd
never
be
know.
interesting.
Never
Interesting
know,
to
right?
reconnect, right?
Yeah.
How do you overcome negative people?
How to overcome negative people? You cut them out of your life. Simple as that. And maybe some people are watching here that probably I haven't connected with in a long time. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have, I find, haters no matter what. This is what it is, right? People that usually hate are usually because they're insecure or they're not where they are in their life, right? Or they're on their path that they want to get to. When you're younger, I notice, well, I know this as well. When you're younger, you're like 19, 20 years old, you got like 20 people in your crew, right? You're going to the clubs, you're just having a good time. This is the way it is. As you get older, you notice your group shrinks smaller and smaller and smaller. It's because, one is because of life, right? Just because you're going to connect with people that are where you are in your life. But also, you just kind of cut out people that are just negative. The people that are always talking about gossip and just talking about, this happened to that, whatever it is, or just negativity. People love gossip way more than positivity stuff, right? If I'm talking about positive shit all the time, it's not that exciting. I know that. But if I'm talking about, what happened over here, or that person's, that kind of stuff, whatever it is, and it's something that people unfortunately love, and they love to spew it, right, kind of thing. And that, see online, as you already know, man.
Oh, totally. I mean, negativity always gets a lot more attention online, especially. Like I give an example of whenever you're driving on the highway and you see a little bit of a wreck on the road, and you're wondering, why the hell's traffic slowing down so much? And you find out maybe a little fender bender. And it's like everybody has to stop to just get a look at that little thing. Like,
nobody's getting out to help.
Nobody's getting out to help. And just have a quick look, slow down, jab their brakes, and then go. It's like, it must be psychologically somewhere that the humans just want to focus on negativity.
Yeah, I do.
And positivity is harder to actually do because I think a part of you has to take some accountability in positivity, right?
Well, one of the things, and I know we're talking about it off camera though, but I'm not going to say it right now though.
Let's do it.
So one of the things that I something that hated on online, right, is that, and I don't really talk about this though, is that when I'll get like just probably see the DMs and that kind of stuff or hate comments, whatnot, I usually just delete them. But sometimes you can't ignore them all, right? And it's usually because if I'm teaching somebody okay, and they made an X amount of money, maybe they made if they're living, say, in Vancouver, for instance, and they made like $50,000 on a flip or whatever it is, right? Something like that. I don't know, something small. Instead of saying good job, you know what I mean, moving forward, you're getting somewhere, whatever it is, and you'll get the opposite. That's nothing. That's garbage. Like that $50,000, like that's nothing to get. That's not even a drop in the bucket to get it anywhere in Vancouver. How's that going to change your life? It's not going to change your life. So that comes back to mindset. That's what I find. It's like, instead of hating on a person, so say if I'm teaching somebody that came from India, a new student or whatever it is, and they're maybe working at Best Buy, this could be the most amount of money they made in their life, perhaps ever, right? I don't know. So don't judge people. And that's what I mean by negativity, right? It's just if you're gonna find something to hate, no matter what, I find, right, kind of thing. And sometimes I find like this so stupidest things like that, right? So it just makes no sense. But
I mean, like you said, you started off with a 5K investment, made 5K, and that was a world to you at that time. Somebody making $35,000-$40,000 a year, and they make 50K in 3 or 4, 6 months. How else are they gonna do that? What other job? And I mean, if you're looking to make $250,000, well, you got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere.
And so the biggest thing I learned in life is you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, he can eat for the rest of your life. And you're teaching people to fish. Essentially.
That's right. What you have to, man. And I always find that, like I said, I teach people on developments and stuff like that, like high level stuff, but you can't expect to run before you learn how to walk. On top of that, not everybody can become a developer. Okay. I know there's a lot of construction, like it's not easy. Like, tell me, you don't have everybody doesn't have $1 million, $2 million kicking around. That's just the reality of it. Sorry, that's not the way it is. Maybe that maybe you're fortunate enough, but not everybody has that backing or has that financial stability, right? Kind of thing. So you got, like I said, you got to start somewhere, man.
Yeah, so, and I mean, you can't compare your day one to somebody else's day 10,000.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people do that. This day and age is difficult. Like social media plays a big role because you start seeing, all these fancy cars, homes.
That's it.
It's like, well, what's my 50K gonna get me? It's like, well, they started with there. Maybe it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but you gotta start somewhere, right?
No, for sure, man.
What's your proudest moment to date?
My proudest moment to date. My proudest moment to date. I don't know if I have anything specific though, but I have a lot of proud moments. I guess you can say when I always find is that when I see somebody that maybe came into my life, right, and whether it's business or health or whatever it is, kind of thing, and they're better for it, right? That's kind of what I always find is that you got to measure yourself, right? Like, how much are you actually affecting people in a positive way, kind of thing, right? And you can easily bring people down, right, kind of thing. So I've got people that worked with me many, many years ago, and they just started out just with basically even like real estate agents and whatnot, right? And now I've gone on to become multi-millionaire developers. I'm not saying because of me only though, but the thing is I might have taught them something, right, kind of thing. Maybe I did, I'm not sure, but I don't have anything specific, my friend.
Sounds
the
like
proudest moment, but I'm proud of my family for sure, and my boys. That's the kind of thing. I'm a coach as well. I'm a hockey coach, so that's usually what I find the most joy. It's not always monetary, for sure. It's my boys and seeing how this hopefully succeed and whatnot in sports and stuff. That kind of really gets me going for sure. And the kids will tell you as well. I'm a pretty passionate coach.
Absolutely. Well, that's pretty passionate.
I'm pretty passionate. Sometimes too passionate. My wife will tell me.
I hear you. Right. Okay, let's talk about entrepreneurship and how it's benefited your family, like your boys, in a sense of how your careers impacted your family.
So my boys will tell you that dad's always talking to us every single day on the way to school and the way to home about business and about life and kind of stuff, where it is, right? So my kids, I think my older one for sure got that entrepreneurship bug, without a doubt. He's always selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. He's got a t-shirt company that he runs. He runs that. And I found out more about it when I was like, he's like, kids are like, want to buy your t-shirts, but he's like, I don't have a merchant account, right? He's like, he wanted to learn what a merchant account was. I'm like, why do you need a merchant account? And he was like, I've got me these shirts, Dad, and I designed them. He bought like a shirt maker thingy at home.
Right, those presses or whatever they call it.
Yeah. And he's literally making these shirts and all that and trying to selling them at school, and it was getting out of hand. I was like,
good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah. So I was encouraging it, but my wife's like, what is he doing?
Right.
But yeah, so that was definitely entrepreneurship has rubbed off on them.
Genetics, it's there, right?
My wife not so much. She's completely out of it, but my boys for sure. For sure.
Well, that leads me to my next question. What should we teach our children at an early age so they can embrace an entrepreneurial mindset?
I think that what we need to teach them is there's more to school than just school books. That's my personal opinion. Okay, you got to put the extra effort in. You know, just like we put our kids in Kumon or put our extensive programs and whatnot in school, outside of school, even in sports and stuff. Or like they can just play school sports, but then they decide to go play ice hockey or academy. Same thing should be business, I find. Yeah. You should be teaching them about money, right? Like both my boys, they have bank accounts and stuff like that. They open up themselves. I teach them how to save money, just the basic fundamentals, right? I think that, especially in our community, man, we're too babied, especially the boys. And it's just giving everything, right? Yeah. Your clothes are done for you. Your food's made for you. Like everything's like, so business, I find, is like, let them figure it out themselves, right? And let them realize that life's not that easy. It's not just a smooth ride. And even if you go to school, you go to university, and you do your 4 years, and you come out of school, you're making, I don't know, whatever you make, $200,000 a year salary, whatever it is. Tell me where you can buy a house. Tell me where you can put a down payment for $200,000 anywhere, right? In Lower Mainland or Fraser Valley. You cannot. And so you have to know money. You have to know business if you want to have, unless your parents are going to set you up, right? You have to know that kind of stuff. That's my personal opinion. You can go, and otherwise I've got friends that never really did anything. They just went to school, they went to university, and then they're like 40 years old. They're like, shit, man, I have nothing to show for it. I've got one house. How are my kids going to go to university and stuff? It's tough. It's very expensive. Mm-hmm. So you got to make these moves and stuff, right? As a kid, and you got to, not as a kid, but teach them at a young age. So
you made
that's what I would say.
Awesome point there. In our community, I find that you're right. We are babied a lot. Yeah. And I'm not saying this for other people. I can speak about it personally as a kid as well. But I also find that, where do I want to go with this thought? It's a really good point, because they are babied, but how can they develop themselves? Because of what I find a lot of people is they're so afraid to take that risk and making themselves look stupid 100%. That they will rather not even do it,
not do nothing,
and then live in regret and resentment and negativity for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
How can they overcome that?
Yeah, I know, man.
That's $1 million question, right?
I wish I knew the answer. And people putting themselves out there is a big deal. And obviously, I do put myself out there now, but I never did before, really, right? Kind of thing. I'm still not a social media person, man. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. I just make these videos with my phone, and I try.
You do a phenomenal job.
Yeah. So I just try to but what I found is that unless you put yourself out there and just try, right? And funny thing is, Sunny, is that when I even started, I think my first few videos and stuff like that, I would literally point the phone to the ground because I don't want to show my face. I would put it on the ground and I would talk. Yes. I would talk and I'd teach a lesson about whatever I'm talking about. And nobody said anything. Nobody knew who I was. But I was like, that's what I mean. I'm like, I don't want people to be like, what the hell's this guy talking about? What's he rambling about, kind of thing, right? But little did I know how fulfilling it is and how many people probably could use help and want to connect and want people. So I always say this as well, man. What the hell is the point of hoarding knowledge? I don't get it. I don't understand. If you're not going to share it with people or let other person get ahead and even if you don't know them, man, it's like, it's funny how the world works. You get way more when you give. So, I don't know where my thought was going with this, but I'm saying that, you have to put yourself out there though, man. You have to. Because if you don't, you're just going in circles. That's my theory.
What's your thought about being the smartest in the room?
Well, I think that this is an obvious one. So a quick story. My story's not very quick usually, but they're okay. we got time. So is that when I was in real estate, so when I was going through and trying to, flip properties, et cetera, and I started flipping contracts, now I flip land, I do all that kind of stuff, is that I knew that I didn't know much of anything in real estate anyways, right? I was a pretty good student in school and all that kind of stuff, and I was a pretty quick learner. But I figured that I need to surround myself with people that are much smarter than me. So what I decided to do was start a real estate club. The real estate club consisted of me, myself, and I. It was me. That's it. So
big club?
Big club, me. That's it. So I'm like, how do I do this? So I went to talk to a couple of my buddies. One's a mortgage broker. One was a lawyer. I'm like, I want to start a real estate club, and I want you guys to come and help and present to people, say that, so your knowledge, share your knowledge as a mortgage broker, a lawyer, or whatever it is in real estate. I'm like, okay. And it's like, sure, Rick, whatever. They don't even know what the hell I was doing, right? They're older than me, right? So I decided to put an ad in the Surrey Leader. Okay.
This is how long ago?
This is about 20 years ago. Yeah. And
Wow.
Surrey Leader, yeah. And I ended up getting like a ballroom thingy at the Sheraton Guildford in Sheraton Guildford Hotel. I'm not sure why I got it there because I live in Richmond. I got it there. I don't know about something cheap. So anyways, I got it there and I'm like, I'm going to start a real estate club. It's funny how that is now. I have a real estate club. But that's when I started my real estate club in person. And I said that come and learn for free, right? And we're teaching real estate, right? But you need to bring something to the table. The ad didn't say that though, right? But I tell people that, whatever it is, come and learn about real estate. I think I had like maybe 3-4 people show up, right? In the very beginning. And so like my friend, they said that it was really positive. It was a good experience. We learned some stuff. I'm like, okay, can you just do me a favor? All I ask you is tell your friends to come next time. We're going to do it again. Like I think a couple weeks, whatever it is. I ended up doing that again and again and again every couple of weeks until it grew to 150 people.
Wow.
So there I am. I'm like 20, 21 years old there. I would have these, so the way I had it set up was I didn't have it like a speaker set in the front. I would have the speaker come in the middle. So we'd have these desks all around us and people would be like sitting around, right? And taking notes and that kind of stuff. So I'll be like, okay, so what are you? You're an appraiser. You're a mortgage broker. You're from the bank. You're this and that, whatever it is. You come and talk, right? And you teach. You have to only teach. That's it. Your job is to teach, not to be, hey, I'm a mortgage broker, and so use me if you blah, blah, or, or an accountant, or et cetera. You just got to teach something. That's it. Obviously, people are going to come to you, right? If you're providing value.
Yes.
It's funny how that is in today's social media. There was no social media back then. Mm-hmm. It's the same concept, my friend. Same thing. When you give, you get received. Those people were not coming there. It didn't grow 150 people by chance because people are getting so much business. Mm-hmm. Like my mortgage brokers or my lawyers and that kind of stuff. Like, can I go next this week, Rick? Like, I want to talk, whatever it is. I have this to. Of course, they get more business that way if they show the value, rather than going to a networking place and saying, hey, this is me. Here's my card, and call me if you need. Give me a business, right? You're providing value, and so. That's what I realized back then. He was like, I cannot be the smartest person in the room. If I am, I do something wrong. And I learned so much. And some of those people, to this day, I still do business with. Some of, I'm actually my lawyers and mortgage brokers still to this day, 20 plus years later. Wow. So good people, right? And they just literally just, once again, gave without expecting anything in return. And that was the thing. And we had some realtors come in there and stuff like that. Just call me if you have like this and that, which is fine, right? But I was always like, you need to give some value. What is the reason? What can you teach us about something or another? So
right,
that's what I did.
Genuine value, genuine relationships, the genuine referral partners.
Genuine referral partners, yeah, okay. Exactly.
Can you share a pivotal moment in your experience in your career that significantly changed how you operate your business? Whether it be a health crisis, financial crisis, market shift, a loss of something, self-doubt, or relationship.
Yes, that's an excellent question there, Sonny. Is that one is specifically because I know exactly what this is where I changed, where I realized that I can rely on myself more than anybody and not rely on other people, right? Unless I have a solid relationship with them. So back in 2008, we had a very large 30-lot subdivision. Okay, we were building and so we got the project, everything else, and I had investors. Okay, so I would do literally these kind of seminars or impromptu seminars and stuff in person. And like, this is our project. You know what I mean? If you want to be an investor, blah, blah. So I had a group of investors, and this was a multi-million-dollar project, way bigger than I can afford by myself. And so we're going through the project. We're going to potentially to completion date, which is in a few months later, whatever it was. And so we got the project secured and all that kind of stuff. Me being naive and not being experienced enough. Okay, this is about 16 years ago. I didn't understand all the nuances of contracts and everything else. Maybe because I'm still, I'm not thinking enough. I'm thinking it through. I'm just thinking I just want to do this project. It's going to be great, etc. Subprime, market collapse in the U.S. The whole shit goes down, right? And I'm like, okay, then I know this is going to affect Canada, obviously. And it did, directly, immediately.
You felt that right away?
Right away. Every single person there scattered. Every single investor. And they had clauses in their contracts and stuff. I'm an idiot. I didn't know this. And they could just walk away. I remember this day because because my family was backing me as well. I almost literally bankrupt my entire family. My dad's life savings, everything, right? So I had a massive amount of stress, obviously. right? And I'm supposed to be doing, I'm just a good child, good son, whatever it is, doing really well in business, and I wipe it all away, and luckily, like the market came back, 6 months later, whatever it is, it bounced back, and we were actually able to work with the bankers, sort of lenders and all that, and figure out the dates and everything else, and we got the project done. But I realized from that day forward that I got to rely on myself and nobody else. I have to, right? I need to know more. I'm not educated enough. I'm trying to take these massive swings where I do not know what the hell I'm doing clearly, and I learned from that, and every project after that, I learned more and more, right? What to do, kind of thing. And that was, like I said, that was one of the wake-up calls for me, for sure. I had several. I've lost money and stuff like that in different projects and whatnot. But that was one of the bigger ones because it stands out to me because it really affected, like you don't try to pretend something that you're not. If you don't have the knowledge, like, get the knowledge. Find a mentor. Find somebody that can teach you because that's going to help you get ahead. Because if you don't, you're going to possibly.
I think that's a really good point, bro. I think it's very, can bring it down to the market the way it is right now.
Yeah.
So there's probably so many people that are going through what you went through back then right now. What would be your advice to somebody that had something similar, like a big loss financially right now, the last 2 years? What should they do?
I would say is that don't lose hope. That's what I got to say. This real estate market, this game, okay, it's been going up for forever. And it's going to continue going up. Of course, it's going to have dips. Right now is another dip. This is my theory. And like I said, I don't know any more than anybody else, right? But what I always say is this, is that don't try to over leverage yourself. Just play, just like gambling, play with your means. Same thing with real estate. I see, like I read the other day, there's a number of people in foreclosure right now. A lot of projects are going under, right? And these are not big projects. These are like 6 units, 8 units, just smaller projects as well. And that could be a person's life savings, right? And because they can't do the payments every month, right? And so I always find is that when it's when the market's really going good, really hot, don't try to bite off more than you can chew. And when the market's really bad, it's not as bad as you think. This is my theory. Right? And there's a reason why developers or builders always buy when the market's down, okay? And they make a ton of money kind of thing as well, right? And they usually sell when the market's super hot. Who's usually the ones really ahead are the developers, right? And so there's got to be something to it, right? So even if you're a smaller developer, right, and you're trying to get ahead kind of thing, right? That's my recommendation, but I'm not one to talk either because I take a lot of risks.
Well, without no risk, there's no big reward, right?
There's no big reward. And if you don't take risks, and this is what I would do, is that if you're not going to take any risks at all, oh man, that's sad. That's my theory. Okay, it's like life's too short.
Don't play it safe all the time.
Don't play it safe all the time, man. I know you have your 9-to-5 job. I know you're doing what you're trying to put a certain amount of money away every month to RSPs, RESP, whatever you're doing, and you want your kids to go to college, etc. You're not going to financially, personally, get anywhere further ahead. That's my theory, right? You got to make moves. You got to make aggressive moves sometimes, right? But you got to make moves that are smart and calculated. That comes with education. So don't make blind moves. Don't make a move where your realtor said to you, you should just buy this property here because I think that one day it's going to get rezoned or something like that. Don't do that shit, man. You need to do the research. People always rely on somebody else. Like if they're trying, somebody tells me to go buy Bitcoin, if I'm the idiot, I don't know anything about Bitcoin, I go buy it and it goes down. Whose fault is that? It's my fault. I trust somebody. Yeah. Unless I know exactly what the hell I'm buying or what I'm doing, it's just, and people want to blame others. I listen to that, whatever, this and that. You can't blame anybody but yourself. I always find, man, you gotta, there's no shortcut. It's gotta be knowledge. So.
First step to moving forward is taking accountability and blaming yourself and moving forward, right?
That's a good one, man.
Right? But I think even in this market, like it applies. They get calls like that. Like, my tenants are not paying the rent, or this is what's going on, or the landlord's increasing the rent. Happens so often and not. It's like, hey, let's take some accountability and move forward. Yeah. Because, that's all you can really work on, right?
That's all you can work on, man.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about personal development. How has your life changed for the positive? Of course, not the negative, the positive by doing personal development.
Personal development, yeah. So this is the thing, man. So I've been to like tons of business conferences. I got to go by myself a lot of times. My wife's not going to go to it. I go to by myself. And a lot of my friends, they're not really into it either, right? So kind of thing. So I actually enjoy it. I just go by myself. But I don't go to, I'll be honest with you, I'm telling you right up front, I don't go to like Tony Robbins, that kind of stuff. I don't like to jump up and down and shit. I just not my thing. That's just me, right? I'm not against it. I like to go, and I always find is that, and I know this without even a slightest doubt, my income and my overall business has gone up every single time when I've gone to the different conferences and learned something new, because I'll always learn something new and I bring it back to my business or my companies and whatnot, whatever I'm building. I know that for a fact. That is something without a doubt. So if I'm going to, I'm a realtor license too, right? I've had for 17 years. So if I'm going to a realtor conference, whatever it is, or developers or business or whatever it is, maybe now I'm older, but for sure when I was younger, I always would go and I always would help my business always grow. My investment, whatever I spent on that conference, would always come back tenfold or more, without a doubt. And this is something that I think that people think that personal development is like jumping around, like going crazy, whatever. No, it's not, man. It's about education, knowledge, and more than that, it's about connecting with people that are way more successful than you. You see, okay, like if I'm making, I don't know, $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, whatever it is. This guy's making $1 million a month and he's younger than me, right? Or something like that. And I meet people like that, or $500,000 a month or whatever it is. It's always financial, but I'm just saying, what the heck does that person know that I don't? I'm the same. I'm a human being too. What is it my brain doesn't have that person has? And you wonder. So you make excuses in your head. Like, okay, it's probably because they probably have rich parents, or they probably have a certain degree. They have more degrees than me, or they know they have more connections. You're gonna make excuses all the time. Instead of trying to look at like peeling, like one thing I always do, like I have my whiteboard, big whiteboards in my office. That's the one thing I like to do is reverse engineer always. If I know my goal is this, how am I gonna peel it back? How am I gonna get to that goal, right? And where is the disconnect, what I don't know? So I believe in mindset. I believe in self-development, personal development. I'm 100% on board with that. That's what I've done. I'm not shy about it. And I tell people and personal development is simply reading a book as well. It's nothing crazy like you need to go to conferences and stuff, and just bettering yourself. That's it, right? So like the people that I connect with, some of my friends, Raj Admi or Sunny CTA or these kind of guys and stuff like that, they're all about self-development and stuff. And it's a common ground. You know what I mean? It's self-development, it's everything. You have self-development, you can get, I find personally, pretty far in life.
Absolutely. That's a really good point. Let's talk about this preschool academy.
Yes.
I know you already talked about it. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure, for sure. So my academy, it's free, okay? It's free education, free knowledge. You come learn for free. That's it. And of course, if you want to do different kind of coaching and that kind of stuff, you're welcome to do. But it's a free community for you to connect with people and just learn about real estate. There's nothing more to that. And it's grown substantially, and we expect it to grow quite a bit more. We got a lot of different plans to spread it across Canada. And we've had, lots of big workshops and stuff and get-togethers and whatnot kind of thing. So it is a free community. Yeah. I'm not here to promote that though, or don't you worry about that.
I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So it's like get an idea, because I mean, there's people out there that may be wanting to get some more value and how they can help themselves.
Sure.
So that's one way that Rick does it.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, you saying that's on you though, but I never want to be like, oh no, come to me. No, you can go to good people like yourself to learn as well. But if you want to, you can, click the link, whatever it is, and come and check us out. But it's, like I said, it's free. Just a positive. The only thing we don't do is we don't do promotion. You can't self-promote. You give, seva, right? You help other people and you network and connect. That's it. There's nothing else more to it than that. It's just a positive community where you can help one another. And me and you were talking about that earlier as well. Like people don't go to like bars and clubs and stuff and networking, as much. They do this kind of stuff. This is what they do. They're online. They're on social media. And so that's kind of what, this is a way to connect people as well. Yeah. Right? So
like-minded community of people. Because I mean, like we talked about, you're going to go to a bar or club. How are you going to find out, hey, that guy also likes, mindset. He also likes to, listen to maybe Tony Robbins or whatever it is. And I mean, you're going to be going in that type of environment to talk about that kind of stuff. It's difficult, right?
It is difficult.
Maybe we should start a different community about that too, right? Get some good people together, right?
For sure, man. For sure.
What has been your career highlight? What kind of challenges and emotions did you feel when you hit that goal?
A career highlight.
Let's say about maybe there's something a lot.
I don't like talking about money stuff.
Not financial. Maybe it could be just that feeling of, hitting a goal and your family was proud of you, or that kind
Yeah.
of thing?
So I think that my family's been, I think specifically my dad, I think more is that, like I said earlier, right? He's not like really was a businessman, right? Kind of thing. And I know he's not gonna watch this, so it's okay. But he's not on social media. But he's not really a businessman, right? So when I came into the picture, when I got old enough, I showed him like, you know what, Dad, the way to do business is not you doing all the work. That's not the way. Obviously, if you're a son, you tell your dad. My dad's an old school. He's like in Jat Punjab. He's not a pushover. He's not like it's okay, son. No. He's like a
Rough and tough.
He's rough and tough, right? That's what it is. So it's a very gentle conversation, right? You just don't just say that. So, but I told him this is not the way business. If you want to create a business, and we want to develop, right, and grow our business, it's not gonna happen. You can't. This is because I believe in one thing, which is time is more valuable than money. Time is more valuable than money, and I always tell myself that time is more valuable than money. So if I'm putting my hours and going in, even for a flip, I'm just doing a flip, right? I did I think like 14 flips last year, or something, whatever I do, right, kind of thing. I'm not there freaking putting the floors down or painting, etc. I'm not doing that stuff. You hire people. You run it as a business, right? So even like a flip, I'm usually there the first day to do a walkthrough of everything, and then at the end we're finish everything, right? But everything should be systematic, kind of thing, right? And that's because my time, I feel is more valuable than sitting there at a job site doing, whatever I need to do. That's at a certain point. I'm not telling everybody to do that. If you're the first flip, whatever it is, don't do that. You probably need to be there every day. But in my business, that I kind of carried that over with my dad as well. And I showed him this is the way you've got to run a business. So, Dad, no, you're not going to go and start doing the finishing. You're not going to go and start laying floor down. We're going to do, instead of you doing that, we're going to start another project. And we're going to start another project. And we're going to start another project. And we're going to start. And that's what was like the biggest, I think, I don't know, my dad's eye-opening, like, holy smokes, we've got sites going all over the place, all over the city, right? How does that happen when I'm used to just doing one, right? And that's just 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day there, you know what I mean? Working your butt off. So, and then leveraging yourself, right? So, I think that's probably one of my business-wise most proudest moments, I guess you can say.
Did your dad say he was happy about that, or was it rough and tough?
Really come out and say that.
Like, I did it.
I think, no, he's not. I don't think he's not that kind of guy. But he, we're blessed. We're pretty good that way. So everything's worked out. But I think that's probably one of the things that just showing my family, right? This is the way, instead of, because he's a 9-to-5 mill worker, right? Shift worker, right? He doesn't know, like, this is the way it is. You go work how many hours, you get a paycheck every 2 weeks, whatever it is. And that's what he kind of did in his building and stuff as well, construction and whatnot. So I kind of changed that, I guess you can say. That was kind of probably the most proudest moment.
That's a good point there. Somebody watched us working a 9-to-5. Should they try, let me phrase this properly.
Quit their job? No, it's
okay.
okay.
Not quit their job. But, okay, this is a good question. Okay. Somebody working a 9-to-5, is it only for young people, or can somebody later on in life become an entrepreneur?
Absolutely, you become an entrepreneur later on in life. I think that's probably a bit easier because you might have a bit more money to play with, right?
But knowledge?
And knowledge, exactly, and knowledge. But the problem is this. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. A person will make excuses. So a person's like, say, I don't know, 50, 55 years old, whatever it is. They've been doing business the exact same way for 20, 25, 30 years, whatever it is, right? I got a number of realtors and stuff in my program. I got everything, right? We got about a couple hundred students, 200 students, and they come from all walks of life. So an older person, it's sometimes, expression, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Same thing. That's what happens. But for a young person, like, well, I know nothing and I have no money, right? And like, I don't know anything about anything. I don't even know what a mortgage is, right? Like that. So there's no right or wrong, I feel. My thing is this, is that if you truly want to make a change in your life, if you truly want to get ahead and you truly want to make, I want to make, if I'm making, say, $250,000 a year and I want to get to $500,000 or $1 million a year, whatever it is, there's absolutely you can do it. Do not tell me you don't have enough time. My kids take all my time up. Oh, I can't because I live with my parents. And so we have obligations, we have debts, we have every single family, every single person has stuff going on. That's not an issue. That's not an excuse, because then there'll be no entrepreneurs. So my thing is this: you have to sacrifice. So if you're a younger guy, okay, on Friday night, you work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, whatever you're working, you're probably gonna be going out with your buddies and stuff and partying, right? I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
And Friday to Saturday, whatever it is, and then you're back to work. And you gotta sacrifice. You gotta stay home. You cannot. You got to save that money. It's not even that going partying. It's about save that money and try to educate yourself and learn. If you don't have any money, go freaking online. There's tons of stuff online. Shit tons of stuff. Go to YouTube. There's endless amounts of stuff you can learn. You don't need to actually pay for anything. You can learn everything on probably YouTube.
Yeah.
If you really want to, that is. Or books, read books. The alternative is this, is that if you're an older person, okay, and you work 9 to 5, whatever it is, and you're like, oh, you know what? My kids, they keep me busy. I'm pretty swamped at the end of the night. I'm done by like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Well, you got to stay up extra 4 hours, whatever it is. You got to sacrifice. This is what I mean. So if you sleep 8 hours a day, sleep 4. I don't care. If you really want it, you will do it. But you're not going to because you feel too comfortable, right? So the biggest problem with people is that they're too comfortable and they don't want any kind of discomfort. This is my routine. This is what I want to do. And so, and I have no sympathy for people that are like, I'm struggling, I can't get ahead, whatever it is. Well, how much time are you actually putting in? How much real time are you putting in? Or are you just bullshitting me again, right? So I'm like, because you can come with 1,000 excuses all the time. There is. But if you it's an expression though, where there's a will, there's a way. I really believe in that. I truly believe in that. I've stayed up freaking all-nighters and stuff and working on stuff and not slept for days and just trying to work on different businesses and just trying to figure out how to get ahead and whatnot. So that's my theory on that, man. So there's no age, and I maybe I'm a bit harsh about it though, but if you really want it, you will do it. So,
absolutely, bro. Yeah. I love the way you broke it down because I think people put a like an hourglass on themselves. Like,
100%.
Oh, I'm 35 or I'm 45. I'm past that age. Yeah. I was thinking about doing this 10 years ago, but I can't do it now. I don't have the stamina anymore. Yes. I don't have this anymore. People that are younger are thinking, oh, I'm not old enough. Nobody's going to take me seriously anymore. So it's like, it's always like opposites. Yeah. And I mean, you broke it down beautifully how, you know what, there's no excuses. You can make the time. Yep. The 4 hours you're going to spend on the weekend, spend in the evenings.
Spend the evenings.
Spend in the evenings, right?
Yeah.
Outlook, have the outlook of the, for the next day in the future. It reminds me of, I'm not sure if you know Dr. Joe Dispenza is.
I do not.
He's basically a doctor, talks about mindset and how your neural pathways are built. Basically, you can't teach old dog new tricks. Yeah. You just got to force it.
You got to force it.
It's actually more pain when you're learning at an older age, like physical pain.
Yep. So I can imagine that.
Yeah. It's like, what is this performance? Like,
what is this stuff?
Okay, so
that's awesome.
What's an upcoming project you're excited about?
Upcoming project. So I have a number of, I don't talk about business projects though, but I do have projects in regards to my personal coaching. Okay. So I've got a lot of stuff. Like I don't have anything specific to kind of share right now, but I do have ways of helping. I built a lot of businesses, companies and stuff, not only real estate and that, right? I've built all kinds of companies. People don't even believe. A lot of companies have failed as well, right? Yeah. So I do know a little bit about business. So I will be coaching more, not only on real estate, but also about business specifically. Okay. So if you have a business and you want to go from zero to, say, I'm not even joking, $1 million. Okay. Say in 2 years, whatever it is, how are we going to get there? Right. Or like 1 year, whatever it is, you want to get to this goal, kind of thing, how you break it down. That's literally what I do. Like how to build business plans, how to actually do step-by-step the activities that are required for it. And just how to, or if you're just making whatever you're making, 100 grand a year, and you want to get to $500,000 a year, whatever it is, what are the steps you got to take to do that? Wow. So specific, very detailed coaching that I'm working with. I'm working with people right now, one-on-one as well, kind of thing. So, and it's a lot more than just just education and knowledge kind of thing, whatever it is. A lot of mindset, like you were saying earlier, and the thinking and the belief, right? So, and that's usually the biggest challenge, right? So, I've got a lot of stuff coming up with coaching-wise, I guess you can say. Just keep that in mind. I have you'll be seeing that. I like to, like just with my Developers Academy, for instance, or my Flipping Academy. So I've got, Flipping Academy. I started that about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. We've got 178 students, I think now, and we started from 0 flips now to, I'm not even exaggerating, about 100 flips now our students have done, and I don't even know how many millions of people have made now, right?
Wow.
And what if I didn't
Start it.
What if I just didn't put the camera towards me and talk to people and all that? I know for a fact some people, their lives are literally changed because they're gone on to doing number of projects and then doing bigger stuff, whatever it is, which is awesome. So I'm doing the same thing with my Developers Academy, what people were, instead of making just a couple $100,000 a year doing flips or whatever it is, let's get you to the next level and doing some developments. How does that work? How does this animal of real estate developments? Because everyone wants to be a builder. How do you actually make real money from it? I'm not talking about just building a house. That's everybody can do that, but actually make real money in developments. That's actually my main business is developments. Right, so. I'm teaching that as well. So yeah, I got a lot going on.
Right on. Right on.
I'm busy.
Before I move on to the final, this is a final question. What's your advice for entrepreneurs starting off?
Okay. My specific advice for entrepreneurs starting off is surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with people that know more than you. Okay. And then on top of that, you've done that. Maybe you've done that. But you need to have a plan. I see people decide to open up a printing company, or I have this company, or I just want to be, a marketing agency, whatever it is, without any kind of specific plan in place. And I've seen this over and over again. And you see these companies, fail. They're not going to go anywhere, or they have no clients, or they have no, you know what I mean. So one trick I can tell you is this: go and test out what you want to sell, perhaps. Okay, so if you want to be maybe, I don't know, like a Facebook marketing advertising person or something like that, whatever it is, make Facebook ads for people, go and do it for somebody and see if they pay you. If you get your first client, then build your company. This is my theory. Maybe I'm just in the wrong way. I've done this for many times. Because if you build all this stuff, this and there's overhead and whatnot, and you have no clients, and you know how to even get clients or business, what the hell is the point? Well, your excuse is going to be like, oh, I don't have a website. I need to have this, Rick. I need to have that. No, you don't need shit. You just need to actually have a will and actually if you have the knowledge for it, whatever it is, go get your first client, then use that money to fund your company. Don't go the other way around, what most people do.
Working backwards.
Working backwards, man.
There you go.
That's my motto.
How can our listeners connect with you?
Just find me on Instagram, my friend, at Rick Bowal. That's it. That's usually where I'm at. I will have other channels and stuff now, but for now, that's main focus, man. So.
There you go. You have it. Rick Bowal giving you a seva and always giving great advice. Appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.